Hey, I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, and with me today are Lori and Christy, who are almost through the certification process for the Holistic Pet Health Coaching Program. And they're jumping on to kind of give us their experience with the program, but a little bit about both of them. They've got a really interesting background. So Lori was and is an RN, but ended up finding a way to turn her love for dogs into a successful business, which includes incredibly nice products as well as massage. And Laura, you got certifications both in aromatherapy as well as massage, which is amazing. And then Christy is a certified dog trainer, but her part of her background has been that she has been training dogs for use in school districts for emotional support dogs, for dogs that are able to warn, and actually I may be overstating this a little bit, but are able to help children navigate being in school with different types of learning abilities. Is that a fair description, Christy?
It is.
Cool, cool. So and I'll drop their website information in here, but but really interesting backgrounds and a couple of different motivations to join the program. So Lori, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about how you came to the program and how you got started, that'd be awesome.
Sure. As you said, I was a pediatric nurse for almost 30 years. About 5 years ago, I got really burned out on the healthcare field, and I needed
Yeah.
Yeah, Mom. 1 second, 1 minute, 1 minute.
Yeah. Yeah. I think your pup was echoing your you're still muted. Yeah, okay. All right. She's got dog attention. So Christy, let's switch it up. So talk, if you will, talk a little bit about how you got into the program and where you were coming from.
So I breed and train Labrador retrievers. We did not start in the school district. It just kind of happened, where we now breed and train specifically for social emotional learning dogs for schools. So our dogs are in school every single day. It's a lot of stress on these dogs, and prior to that, we were just having a lot of GI issues with our dogs, and I spent a lot of money working with Michigan State University trying to figure out what was going on with my dogs. And I stumbled onto just cooking, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I just started doing it, and it started to make a big difference in our dogs. And through that process, I stumbled onto your website, and I had a wonderful conversation with my mentor, and it just felt like a good fit. I didn't know if I would be able to make a business out of it because I am so busy with what I currently am doing. But I felt that it was worth learning for no other reason other than helping my own personal dogs. And what I have learned has been just crazy. Overwhelming at times, but I had no idea it was going to be so in depth, and it's been wonderful for my program.
That's awesome. So, Lori, now that you've got your dog that was agreeing with you that you were burnt, you were, well, I think he or she was agreeing with you that you were burned out on pediatric nursing. Yeah, that was terrible.
Yes. So during this time, Lily, this one here, was going to a doggy daycare, and the lady had doggy daycare in her home, and she made her own raw food. She would sell it at our farmer's market, and she had a certification in massage, and she started talking to me about it. She's like, I think you would really, really be good at doing this. And we talked for about a month before she convinced me that, yeah, let me go ahead and I'll sign up for some certification courses. And so I studied through, his name is Jonathan Rudinger. He's in Toledo, Ohio, and runs the Pet Massage Institute in Toledo. I did that. Then after I did that, I became certified with animal aromatherapy through Ashi. She is in Banner Elk, North Carolina. So I did that. my driving force was my Bulldog Ike. At this time, Ike was 14. He was having some issues, and I started becoming more holistic with his care. So when I would read bottles that said, "Oh, this is all natural. This is a great product for dogs for a natural flea and tick," and it's loaded with essential oils that are not safe for dogs. It has a couched preservative called formaldehyde, and they call it DMDH, and getting so
Wow.
frustrated because I'm looking at these labels, all natural, holistic, far from it. And the regular, anybody else wouldn't know that. I have a science background, so I'm like, this is ridiculous. So my driving force for all of this was my Bulldog. He passed away 8 years ago, but I wanted to truly have something all natural, very healthy for dogs, and with massage to help, and animal aromatherapy. So that's how I got started. Saw your website and like, oh, I've heard of Dr. Robert. And I've heard of you for years. My vet actually, when we moved to Merle's Inlet, gave me a copy of your original crock pet diet when you were in, I guess you were at Charleston.
Yep, was down on John's Island. Yep.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just signed up for her course. So it was meant to be. But, like Christy, this has just been so wonderful for me. I love that you've offered this to individuals to do. And even if you're not going to use it as part of your business, for pet parents, you can't get a more hands-on course. And I want to thank you for that, because there are some courses that you can take online that have the modules that you have. However, you don't get your expertise. You don't get to speak with you every Monday. We get your expertise every Monday. We get our mentors' help. Some of them online platforms, here are your modules, do your modules, and that's all you get. So I really appreciate this so much. You have no idea.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's a heck of a lineup you've got on your website. That's amazing. But you're right. I mean, like human cosmetics, they hide so much stuff in there, and unless you have an understanding of what the hidden stuff is, it's almost impossible to know. But man, I was like, she's ready to roll. But that's so amazing that you've been able to do that. And it's funny where life takes us sometimes, but it's kind of crazy the way that goes. But Christy, the other thing you were sort of facing was, trying to get these dogs in the school system to be able to have some more natural options, but you're actually having difficulty getting that across to people. Is that a fair statement as far as getting folks on board?
It is a fair statement. One of the issues that we have is that a lot of our schools, a lot of what the care for the dogs is donated. So pet stores are donating food, or they're donating, vet services, they're donating grooming. So one of the biggest issues that I've had is funding. Like, how do we fund the products so that they can have a cooked food? And we've looked at some of the pre-made food, but to feed a Labrador, it's very expensive if you were to buy some of the already pre-made food. And so one of the suggestions that you made that really is helping, it's just a step in the right direction, is we're adding veggies to the dog's kibble. And that in itself has really helped. So I thank you for that.
Well, and you're welcome. But I mean, I can remember working with the guide dogs for blind folks in the Charleston area. These dogs were so stressed out, and they were developing all sorts of problems really, really quickly in life. So at 6 to 8, they were having to retire due to chronic GI issues, due to skin issues. And it was so heartbreaking, because about the time they got really, really good at their jobs, they had to retire because they just couldn't continue to work in the way that the handler needed them to work. So that was so frustrating. And what you're doing is so important. And Labradors are just such great bomb-proof dogs, but they're unfortunately just riddled with health issues. So good on you that you're able to at least get your hosts to have some veggies and help them out a little bit. So that's awesome. But you had a real big challenge with one of your own dogs. You stepped into the Doberman world and and got a small surprise.
I did. I don't know what I was thinking. He's actually laying next to me right now. But yes, he was, no matter what, he was losing weight. He was having constant soft stools. We did a Glacier Peaks test. He couldn't eat really anything. He could pretty much have venison and pork and other things that we can't access here, like guinea fowl and stuff like that. So cooking for him has been amazing. And we have also tried some different products that have helped him tremendously. So he is doing really well. He is calm now. We're able to do a lot better training with him, and he's gaining weight. So
Awesome.
That's awesome. Cool. And y'all out there watching, if you've got some questions about your own pets, jump in and ask some questions. Looks like you got a few folks on your Facebook page, Christy, which is awesome. And then I think there's 7 or so folks on our YouTube channel watching, which is awesome. But yeah, if you've got some questions, pop in and we'll keep yakking away too. And Lori, you told me you just reached out. So both of you, I think you're about 3/4 of the way through. Actually, Christy, you are so close. You've got one more client exam to do, and then you're done.
Yay!
Yay! And Lori, you're darn close too.
I'm on my last module. I do have a client now, which I'm so happy to be able to help, and it just makes you feel really, really good when you are able to help somebody, a pet parent, and help their pets and know what you're doing is 100% the best thing that you can do to help them and help to support their pets. And yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. And so I've got this client, but I've got for my homework, my last 2 assignments I have, and then my final test, and then I'm done. So we're out of town this week. Hopefully by Monday, you'll be putting an announcement up. Congratulations.
Right on. And so for frame of reference, there are 14 modules in the program. And part of it is learning how to create a business and market your business and all those good things. Because if you don't know how to do that part in this day and age, it's really difficult to get your name out there. And then the rest of the modules are talking about understanding how conventional veterinary medicine would approach a problem, understanding concepts of functional medicine, of traditional Chinese medicine. And then we roll through how to use the original crock-pot diet. In full disclosure, I am not an advocate of raw feeding. I am an advocate of home cooking, because I think that that's really more what our pets developed eating along with us. And frankly, it creates a much more adaptable diet. It's also a lot more sustainable and environmentally friendly for these guys. But the beauty is that during the course, you learn how to modify the diet for the specific needs of the pet. And then we go into the various organ systems, and then the last 2 modules are about cancer and autoimmune disease, which are the most difficult things that we face with our pets now. So, and then each of these modules has a homework assignment, some of which is written, but the majority of which is a video recording. And the reason I do this, and everybody hates it, right? We all hate to see ourselves in front of the video.
Dr. Robert. Not my favorite.
But we all have to, this is the deal, is that we have to be able to think quickly and pull information out and express what we need to get across to people on video anymore. So by the end of the program, people that were like really hating it and uncomfortable and miserable are fluid on video, which is which was the big goal there. And then the last part is 2 actual consultations, so that you can actually help somebody and practice going through understanding their health history, what they've tried that's not working, what's not working, and then give them some options to start to move forward. So that's where you both are. Christy's got 1 more of those case consultations to complete, and Lori, it sounds like you've got things set up to get them finished up really quickly. But that is the best part of the program for me, is watching these consultation videos and seeing how much everybody has grown and learned, and they're never going to be completely perfect. I mess up because I got thinking and move too far ahead and say the wrong thing. But what I can see is that you understand the material, you're able to explain it to somebody and put it in terms that they understand, and also present it in a way where you can get buy-in from them. Like, yeah, I can do this, or I'm not sure, and then pivot and then adapt things to what they can do. And the whole reason I developed this program is because in veterinary medicine, you're getting 6 to 10 minutes with a vet. And if you've got a really, really sick pet, that is not enough time to do anything except for write a prescription. And that's not serving our pets. So anyway, on that really sad note, one of the other things that we hope to be fostering is a community with people, and part of that way that starts is with working with your mentors. And so can you all comment a little bit about that process?
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
Good. Well, I think that, here we go. Now, it's very helpful to be able to speak with your mentor once a week, and go over your week and what's going on, if you've had any questions. And like I said, I mean, with you, with our Monday morning videos with you, it's just invaluable. I mean, it really is. And same with our mentors. Our mentors really, really help guide us. They make us think. My mentor is like, okay, well, you got this, and this. What would you do for A, B, C, and D? And I have to think about it. And that's preparing me for the real world. But it's so invaluable that you give us these tools. There's nothing like that I've ever seen. And Christy, I don't know about you, but I mean, just to have access to you and our mentors and the videos, the modules, you're on our modules. So the whole program is just wonderful. And I appreciate it, but the mentoring is phenomenal.
Well, cool.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that you have a mentor, that mentor kind of becomes your friend too. They have your back and they want you to succeed. So I feel like they push you, but they also they're helpful, if that makes sense. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I too, I've taken some other online classes, and I didn't have this one-on-one interaction with somebody like you, Dr. Ruth, or then our mentors as well, where we could ask questions. And if something didn't make sense, because that was my biggest fear. I didn't want to lead somebody in the wrong direction and make their sick pet more sick. And so, because I've been down that road, and that's a terrible place to lead somebody. So I really, before I took on helping anybody else, I wanted to make sure I had a very good understanding of how I could do that. And I feel like we definitely got that information.
Absolutely.
Oh, cool.
I ran through my mentor first with my client that I have now. I'm like, okay, I'm really nervous about this. I know in my head, but I ran it by my mentor, and he's like, you got this, go for it, and that makes you that confidence boost makes you feel 100% better.
Right on. And that's the whole thing, is that after you graduate the program, then y'all will have continued access to our weekly coaching calls. And that's the whole goal, is that if you don't have the confidence and somebody backing you up, because we're in totally new territory. Health coaching on the human side has been around since the 80s. but this is a totally new concept for pet care. And it is, it really is going to be one of the paths forward for pet parents, because again, if you get, and it depends on where you are. I mean, some places in the country, not so big a deal as far as getting veterinary care, and there are some wonderful, wonderful veterinarians out there. However, my colleagues are so overrun. It is just insane as far as the volume of work that they're having to do, and the options that they have are just so limited. And this is part of what my hope is that we can offer folks holistic, more natural options to chronic disease problems than are available on the conventional side, because it's so tough. I mean, it's usually, take these pills and come back in 3 weeks and let's see where things are.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So in terms of what you think the biggest issues you're seeing in pets right now, Christy, you've got a very specific group of dogs you're looking at with labs. I mean, what are the biggest things you're seeing for these guys?
Allergy type symptoms, ear infections, itchy paws, itchy skin, GI issues, Labrador air. And so trying to keep them from not being overweight, number one, and then not, I think that's the biggest thing I see. And what's been very interesting to me is every single dog I have tested on Glacier Peaks has come back sensitive to chicken and salmon. Every single dog. And the reason that's so interesting to me is because all of the skin and allergy food that's out there for these dogs is salmon based. And so I just feel like we're making these poor dogs worse based on just the results that I'm seeing on my own dogs in Glacier Peak testing them.
Right on. And that's the whole issue, is that there's a limited set of foods that we can work with, but right. For a long time, like lamb, and this is 20 years ago now, lamb and rice was the way to go. Well, now then they developed sensitivities to lamb, and now it's salmon, because that's in the pet foods. It's also the most common choice for an omega-3 fatty acid supplement is salmon oil. And boom, there you go. They're exposed to it chronically. And then there's the whole issue with many of the diets that are supposed to be limited ingredients actually have other stuff in there that
it's ridiculous. Wow.
Yeah, and it's and this is just terrible. Like there's all of these recall reports coming out. There was a huge issue with mycotoxin contamination for, I forget which brand of food this time around, but the sad thing is this is happening on a consistent basis. The really sad thing is that there's actually more oversight of the pet food industry than there is of the human food industry. So God only knows what you're eating when you buy a box or a bag of something, which it's like, oh, getting scary out there.
Yeah.
So Lori, how about you? What do you think are the main health issues you're seeing with your massage clients in your shop?
And we're like Christy. We see a lot of itchy skin, itchy paws, some anxiety. A lot of my little massage clients, the older clients. My clients are older. Arthritis, joint pain, things of that nature. Then at the same time, they develop a lot of anxiety as well. And so yeah, those are the issues I'm seeing, skin issues, GI issues, and some behavior issues, some anxiety and so forth. So, massage is a great modality. It can help alleviate some of that anxiety. Obviously with massage, it gets the lymphatic system, fluids flowing, circulation, just everything. And now that I have your course, I have the ability to recommend certain supplements, and supplements that I know are good supplements that you're not going to get from the pet store and say, oh, it's all natural, and it's crap. So that makes me feel wonderful that I can recommend really quality supplements, whether it be, even Chinese herbs, to my clients that I know that are 100% the real deal.
Yeah, and that is a huge problem too. I mean, the supplement industry in general is not well regulated, which is good and bad. Periodically the FDA tries to shut it all down, and that's not a good response either. But that's the thing. I mean, most people will go on Amazon and look for a skin supplement, and it has the words they know should be in there, but either it's proprietary, so you have no idea how much of what,
Right.
or they're just simply insufficient quantities, or it's in with things that are actually creating food sensitivities.
When I see the word proprietary on a label, that tells me they got something to hide, and don't buy that product if they can't list if it's on there.
It's Yeah, it is. I mean, there is that, and then there's a lot of folks that do that simply because, like, you can trademark. Come on, Hayo. Woo. You can trademark a supplement formula, but all somebody has to do is just change one ingredient by a milligram, and it's a whole new formula. So there are some formulas that I will use that are proprietary, but I sure do want to make sure that I've had experience with them, that they actually work. But I agree, it's just like, okay, what else is going on in here, guys? Cool. So anything else y'all would say? So we've got some links in here. I should say this as well. So this is Christy's site. If you want to get in touch with her, if you've got Labradors, or you're interested in helping getting a program going in a school district, she would be a great reference for you. You have a wealth of knowledge with this breed that is the breed we love the most, and also sadly the most health challenged next to golden retrievers. So check that out. And then here is Lori's site again, so you can reach out to her. And I know, Christy, you're just in the middle of trying to get through getting puppies into hosts' homes for the time being. So you're in a bit of overwhelm, but I think and once you get through the program, you'll be ready to start working with people, which is awesome. But reach out to either one of these ladies. They're happy to help you to get you started on getting your pet back on the path to wellness. And if you are at all interested in learning more about the program, just click on this link and drop your email and name and telephone number in there. We'll get you over to a page where there's a video that tells you about the program, and we'll get you in touch with one of our guidance counselors to see if this is a good fit for you or not. But so having said all of that, ladies, what would you say to folks as far as helping them understand how a holistic pet health coach could help them support their pets? Because that's part of the other thing. It's like, who? What?
Chrissy, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to say, these are the first 2 litters that we've started on a home cooked meal, and the difference of our puppy's health overall, the size, the coat, how healthy they are. What a difference from feeding kibble versus feeding a home cooked meal. Yeah. So this has been really fun to see. And so what I'd like to say is, I would love to help other breeders look at this and start this, if nothing else, starting with your puppies, because I feel like if we can get them off on the right foot, from such a young age, that maybe these guys can have a little better, healthier life without all these other issues that Labradors typically have. So I would love to see more breeders jump on board with this. And I know it's time consuming, but I'm happy to help you because once you get into it, it's not that hard. So.
And it's not cheap to cook, but on the other hand, if you're trying to buy a bag of high quality food, are you finding that it's a lot more expensive cooking for that many pups?
No, it's not more expensive because, like you said, trying to find a food that doesn't have 5 different proteins in it has been my struggle. And so we landed on Signature. We did Signature and we did Pure Vita by Nutrisource because they really were just one protein source foods, but they're $100 a bag. You know, some of the proteins are, so it actually is cheaper for us to cook for our dogs, but there is the time component that a lot of people struggle with. You would crack up. My house I have roasting pans going right down the center of our kennel training area all the time. And it's just routine for us now.
Wow.
And it works. So
That's awesome. So are the dogs like constantly salivating with the smell of the cooking? Like, oh my
God.
Let's hang out.
It is kind of torture, but they're used to it now. They're fine. They know they're going to get fed twice a day, and it's great. And my kennel always smells like, you know, we're cooking dinner. So
That's awesome.
You know, it's great.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Cool. So, Lori, and how about you? What would you say to folks to help them understand what's going on?
I'm going to echo Christy. It's like, you know, and as we've learned, everything does start in the gut. Everything, allergies, behavior, everything starts in the gut and with proper nutrition. And if you don't have that proper nutrition, then you're going to develop these other issues. And as Christy said, when you start feeding the home cooked meals, the nutritional value is just so much better than kibble. Kibble can, you know, kibble over a long period of time. And that's what happened with my dog. It taxes the kidneys. And he got to a point where his kidneys just shut down because, you know, kibble is dry and you're not getting enough moisture over a period of time. So as to what Christy said, seeing a big difference in dogs that have been eating the home cooked meal, in their skin, in their coat, in their behavior, and just their GI issues is so wonderful. And, you know, I mean, is it a little bit more expensive? Not really when you're buying, like you said, a huge big bag of kibble, but then at the same time, you're going to the vet because you've got this going on and that going on. So you're dropping $250 at this visit and $250 that visit. And they're pushing this and they're pushing that. And you're like, you know, no. So anybody that is looking, I would love to help people as well. Call me. We can talk. We can go over, you know, what you're doing. And we're just supporting them. You know, I'm your friend. I'm your health coach. I'm supporting you. You know, here's what I recommend. Talk it over with your vet. That's just, you know, that's how I feel about it.
Amen to that. And this is the thing is that, you know, there's only so many holistic veterinarians across the country. And so we try really, really hard to work with folks, veterinarians. If your vet is like, that's wackadoo stuff, sometimes you got to do what you know is right. Because if you've been to the vet month after month after month and the medications keep changing, but the symptoms don't, then maybe it's time for a different approach. And that's really what we're trying to do is give you tools to start at the very foundation of health, which is always food. So you cannot outpill a bad diet. And that's, I'm fond of saying it, but it's true. Yeah. Cool. Well, ladies, thank you so much for spending time this afternoon. Again, reach out to Lori, reach out to Christy, especially if you're running a breeding program. Christy's knowledge in terms of getting the best dogs on the ground and into the hands of people that need to work with them is impressive and impeccable. I think she probably can out dance most regular veterinarians in terms of understanding good breeding practices because we just don't see intact dogs anymore very frequently, which is a whole nother just topic for discussion. But reach out to these ladies. They can get you some help. They can help walk you through the entire process of figuring out what your dog is sensitive to, what it can eat, and then designing diets specifically to support your pet as well as a supplement program. So that's what we've got for this week. Until next time, take good care and give all your pups a big hug for us. Yeah.